All right, let's take a journey. We're going deep inside the human brain to explore this incredible and sometimes surprisingly fragile little piece of machinery that controls our dreams.
Just think about it for a second. What if, when you were dreaming about flying, you actually tried to leap off your bed? Or you were dreaming about a tense fight and you started throwing real punches in your sleep? It sounds like a scene from a movie, right? Well, for some people, this is very, very real.
Okay, now let's flip that whole idea on its head. Imagine you're wide awake. Someone tells the funniest joke you've ever heard. And as you start to laugh, your muscles just give out. You collapse, totally conscious, but completely unable to move. So these aren't just wild what-if scenarios. They're actual medical conditions, and they point us to a really critical switch hidden deep in our brains. A switch that's supposed to keep the world of our minds safely separate from the actions of our bodies. On one side of this mystery, you have REM sleep behavior disorder, or RBD. That's where the brain's off switch for the body fails during sleep. And on the other side, you have cataplexy, where that same off switch gets flipped at totally the wrong time while you're awake. They seem like complete opposites, but as you'll see, they are two sides of the exact same coin. So, to figure out how this system can go so wrong, we first have to understand how it's supposed to work in the first place. Let's take a look at the brain's built-in safety feature for dreaming.
Okay, meet the star of our show, the subcoccularius nucleus. Let's just call it the sub-C for short. This tiny little spot in your brainstem, it's the master switch. It's the thing that says, okay, time for dream sleep, and flips the whole system on.
And here's where it gets kind of wild. When you're in REM sleep, your brain is buzzing with activity. I mean, it looks almost identical to a brain that's wide awake. So the big question is, why aren't you up and running around while you dream about chasing a soccer ball? Well, it's this beautiful four-step cascade. First, that sub-C switch we talked about flips on. Then it sends a signal down the line to another area, the VMM. The VMM acts like a bouncer at a club, releasing these chemicals that basically tell your motor neurons, nope, you're not going anywhere. And the result? Your body goes into a temporary paralysis called atonia. You can really just think of it as your brain putting your body into safe mode every night. It's like your brain is saying, okay, mind, you go have fun, run, fly, do whatever you want. Body, you just stay put. It's an absolutely elegant solution. All right, so now we get it. We've got the blueprint for how this is all supposed to work. So let's go back to our mystery. What happens when this elegant little safety system breaks? Because when that sub-C switch, or any part of that pathway, starts to fail, well, that solid wall between your dreaming mind and your physical body starts to get a little blurry. So with REM sleep behavior disorder, the sub-C switch turns on just fine. But that stay still signal it sends, it's like the message gets garbled. It's weak, or it gets lost along the way. Your motor neurons never get the memo to shut down, so your body just goes ahead and acts out whatever adventure the mind is on. Now, cataplexy is the complete opposite problem. The system isn't broken, it just has terrible timing. That entire paralysis system, from the subtals all the way down, gets triggered while a person is wide awake, usually by really strong positive emotions, like a huge laugh or a wonderful surprise. And you've probably felt a tiny, harmless flicker of this yourself. You know that feeling when you laugh so hard you feel like your knees are gonna buckle? That feeling of being weak with laughter? That's it. That's a tiny little echo of the exact same brain mechanism that can cause a full-body collapse in someone with cataplexy. So this is all fascinating neuroscience, for sure, but what are the real stakes here? Why is it so important for us to understand this little dream switch? Well, for starters, just think about this number, 6 years. On average, that's how much of your life you will spend dreaming. That is a huge chunk of your existence, all governed by this one little switch. And this nightly shutdown isn't just about safety. Keeping the body still creates the perfect, quiet conditions for the brain to do its most important maintenance. Things like sorting through memories and processing emotions. It's basically hitting the reset button so you're ready for the next day. But this is where it gets really, really critical. For a huge number of people, a problem with this dream switch is a major warning sign. And it all comes down to this number, about 80%. In roughly 80% of people who develop REM sleep behavior disorder, it's one of the very first signs of a future neurodegenerative disease, like Parkinson's. This little glitch in the dream switch can show up years, sometimes even decades before any other symptoms appear, giving us this incredible, early window to see what's coming.
So, when you get right down to it, our dreams are basically a virtual reality simulation that our brain runs every single night. And this switch we've been talking about, that's the firewall. It's the hard barrier between the simulation and the real world. Understanding it isn't just about unlocking the secrets of sleep. It gives us this profound insight into the health of our brain and shows us what can happen when that firewall starts to crumble.